Hey guys, my name is Kaushik and welcome back to Learn by Test. In this video, we're going to learn what is JavaScript alert and how to handle the alerts using Playwright. And also we're going to learn one more topic called HTTP authentication. It might not be similar to your handling alert, but it looks very similar to alerts, and most of the time in interview we might get this question, so I'm going to cover that as well. And then we'll learn how to handle the toast or notification elements. Might not be a practical demo, but I will give you a few hints. And lastly, we are going to learn the difference between on dialog and once dialog. So let's get started now. So first thing first, we'll go with the documentation. So if you go to this playwright.dev/java/docs/dialogs, I will leave the link in the description. You can go and read if you want more information, but of course I'm going to cover most of the things. So first thing, you can notice that by default Playwright will dismiss the alerts. So for example, if there is an alert and if you haven't handled it, Playwright will dismiss that. But most of these scenarios in testing, we don't have to dismiss. Rather, if it's a confirmation box, we have to give like accept or dismiss. And if it's a prompt alert, of course we have to give some input. So based on that, of course it's going to work, right? And by the way, alerts are very old technology or techniques, I can say. In most recent website, you might not see the alerts, but of course it's good to know and good to learn as well. Okay, so by default alerts will be dismissed, but we are going to learn how to handle if there is any alert. So first of all, what is JavaScript alert? So if you see here, we have three types of alert majorly. So we have this simple alert, which will have only one button, that is OK. It can be like accept as well as dismiss. Both the functions will be applicable here, but based on the implementation, the outcome might be different. And here you can see like we have a text called I am an alert box with a exclamatory symbol. So we can read that, but above that we have something like www.lambdatest.com, right? So basically that's the browser feature. We cannot read that text, but we can of course read this text if you want. Okay, and then we have the second type of alert, which is confirmation box. That means we will have two buttons. One is the OK and another one is the cancel. And then followed by we have this prompt where we can give some data, and based on the data it can give us the output. For example, let me give my name here, and if I accept, that means OK, and you can see we have this, you have entered the name, right? So that's it, very easy. This is what JavaScript alert. Basically we have three types: simple, confirmation, and the prompt. Things to keep in mind: whenever there is an alert, we cannot do anything other than this. For example, if I go to my page and right click and try to bring the DOM, the inspect things, we cannot do that. So once we handle the alert, then only we can move. For example, if I go and click this book a demo, of course I cannot do that because your JavaScript alert is blocking your entire thread. So we have to handle this, then we can do any other action. So it is very important to handle the alerts. Now let's see the demo. So here we have our basic Playwright code. Of course you know this, so I'm going to not repeat, but of course I will give you a glimpse. So first of all, we'll create the Playwright instance. That means we are hooking up our Playwright to launch the browsers and to do all the interactions. It's basically like creating a server, right? And then we are going to launch the Chromium browser. From the browser, we'll get the browser type. With the browser type, we can say like what are the things we want to do. Mostly we'll get the new page, and of course we want to see the output, so we'll say the headless as false. And that is going to give me the page object. From the page object, I can do the navigation, which is this particular URL. Now I have to click on this. So click me, click me, click me. All the buttons have the same names. Of course, it might not work with Playwright Locator directly. It will give us like multiple, what we call that, duplicate element found, something like that. Yeah, I don't remember the name, but yeah. Okay, let us check that. So I'm going to Control plus to maximize this. So here you can see like we have a button called click me. I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to find in the DOM. So of course we have like three elements. Just to make it simple, I'm going to show you how to find the multiple elements as well. Okay, so for example, here I can say like page dot locator, and the locator name is basically click me. Okay, so we can write this as a XPath, or else we can also go with Playwright locators. For example, text equals and within single quotes the text value. Okay, I guess it should work. Let's see. But this is going to give me actually multiple locator. For example, let me save this. So here let me save this like buttons. Okay, and I'm going to say buttons dot clear. Of course it's a buttons because multiple things are there. So let's go and run this. Let's see the exception. I'm sure we'll get the exception. Let's see. It says like removed unused browsers, and yeah, so though you can see we got this error and it says like strict mode violation. Yeah, this is what I meant. So that means we have 3 elements, so we cannot use the button. But of course we know that from the buttons we can extract any button. For example, if I want to click on the first one, I can say like dot first, and then I can say click. That means it's going to click on the button, okay, the first button. So we have totally 3 and it's going to click on the first. Similarly, if I want to click on the last, I can use the function called buttons.last.click, and then if I want to click on the center one, I can say like nth of position. Okay, so here you can see like we got a blue highlight. That means of course the click has happened, but since I said that alerts are auto dismissed, it is actually appeared and dismissed automatically, so we cannot even see that. It's fast. So I don't want to dismiss, I want to read the text and then probably I can do my own action. So how to do that? It's going to be very simple. So now let's say how to handle the alert. So first of all, of course, we have to go and click on the first alert, which is triggering the event of to make appear this alert box. So we have to capture the event, right? So here I'm going to say like page dot once dialog. Okay, so there are 2 functions. One is once dialog and another one is on dialog. I will tell you the differences, which is recommended to use. Of course, this one, the once dialog, I will tell you why. Okay, so here we know that we are going to get the alert, and then I can say like alert dot probably accept. That means of course it's going to click on the OK button. So I'm going to run this. Before that, let me close my browser as well. Playwright.close, just to save some memory, and just to show you the output, I'm going to use the not this one, page dot wait for timeout, and let's wait for like 3 seconds and then I will just close. Okay, so this timeout is not required actually. I'm just using this. This is similar to your thread.sleep, I can say, so that I can show you the output and then it will close the browser. Okay, I hope you understand. Basically we don't need that. Yeah, so let's go and run this. Let's see what happens. Okay, so here you can see like the click me is in highlighted blue color, something like that, because it clicked on and we got the alert, but we couldn't see because of course it's very fast and we cannot see this. But I want to know whether the alert appears or not, so I'm just going to print the text. So what I will do, I'll simply say like alert dot message, which is going to return me a string, and I can print that. So sys out, then followed by the message, the variable. Okay, then I'm going to do the accept. So here I can simply call this message, alert dot accept, and alert is use a variable name. You can have it like dialog, alert, A, B, whatever you feel. Okay, so I'm going to run this now. Let's see. Okay, so here you can see like in the console we got something like I'm in alert box. After the wait for timeout, it's going to close the browser. Okay, so this is how we have to use the alert. Now let's go with another example. For example, I don't want to accept, rather I want to dismiss this. So I'm going to take the second guy, which is confirmation box, where we have this press a button and I can click on OK or cancel. So if I click on this cancel, you can see we got like you pressed cancel. So of course you can go and do the assertion, but just for the sake of demo, I'm going to use this guy as printout. Okay, so I'm going to copy this actually one more time, both the lines, and I'm going to paste here. Okay, and then I'm going to change this to nth function, and I'm going to give like 1. So 0 means first one, 1 means second, respectively. So it's basically indexing. That means of course it starts from the 0. Okay, and of course we want to print the text, so here we'll just do the sys out. So sys out, then followed by page dot locator, which is this guy. Sorry, not this guy. So we have to copy this ID, and I'm going to make it as CSS, so hash then followed by the ID, and of course we want the text, so we'll just use the function called text content. Okay, and instead of accept, we'll do the dismiss, and then go and run this now. Let's see, and we have error. We'll fix that. So I missed a semicolon, sorry for that. Let's go and run this now. Okay, so after the timeout, of course it's going to close the browser, and you can see like I'm in alert box. That is our first text content of the alert, and press a button is the second alert text, and then we have the we have pressed the cancel, so we got this. So if I go and do the accept now, so it will basically give me the sys out as like you pressed accept, something like that. Okay, so if I go to the console, here you can see like you pressed okay. So instead of accept, it said like okay, which is correct. Okay, so we learned another way of handling alert as well. I mean another type, which is prompt box. So in the prompt box, basically we have to give some data. For example, I can give my name, and I can click on this okay guy. So if I click on this, of course I'm going to get this right. So let's handle this. Okay, so I'm going to use the paste.once dialog once again, and here the same line this also. So let me paste over here, and instead of nth2, I know that there are only 3. So first one already we have handled the center. So I'm going to use this last function. Basically it will go and click on the last available locator. Okay, and here of course we have to type something. So how do I type? So we have like accept method, and we have like accept with string. That means of course it's overloaded functions. Then we have default value. If you want to read something that is available on your alert box, so for example here you can see like we have the center name. If you want to retrieve them, of course you can use this function called default value. And then we have dismiss to dismiss the alert. We have message means of course to read the text. So this text, please enter your name. If you want to read this, you have to use the function called message. If you want to read, which is inside your text box, not text box, it's a prompt box, then you have to use the function called default value. And if you want to know the type of alert, for example, it can be like before unload, it can be confirm, it can be prompt. So if you want to know the versions, you can probably go and use the function called type. Okay, so I'm going to read this as well as this. Let's see how to do that. So let me come back here. So already we are printing the message, which is fine. So we are going to do the accept, but before that I want to read the value, right? So I will just say like system.out.println, and then followed by alert.default value. And here of course it's overloaded, so I can pass my name. Once that is done, I want to read that. So you have entered something. I'm going to prompt this has ID called prompt demo. I'm going to copy this. Actually I can copy this, paste over here, and change this one. Easy peasy, right? Yeah, so yeah, I think it should work fine. Let's go and check this. The prompt alert, I guess we can see at least, because we have to type something, so it might be there for few milliseconds. No, it's not there, it's freaking fast. But yeah, you got the idea. So you can see like please enter your name, that is the message, and enter name, this is the default value. Okay, the best part of Playwright is this default value. If you want to read the default value, we can do that in Playwright, but if you take the Selenium, there is no way to do that. I bet you, okay, I don't want to bet you, but as per my knowledge, there is no way, there is no function to read that. Maybe some JavaScript things we can insert and we can do, but yeah, there is no default way or default function to do that. Okay, yeah, coming back to this, so this is how we have to handle the JavaScript. So what are the learnings here? By default it will be auto dismissed if you do not use this paste.once dialog or paste.on dialog. And what is the difference between on and once? Okay, so there is a function called one dialog. Let me use that. Okay, so here I have a function called one dialog, on dialog, not one, it's on. Now I'm going to run this. Let's see what happens. Actually, we'll end up with an exception, and I'll tell you the reason. Yeah, so here you can see like we got the exception, and if you see the cannot accept dialog, which is already handled. Okay, so that means basically it's giving us all the text that we saw in previous execution also. That means the script is running, but the way we are handling alert is wrong here. So as the name suggests, once dialog means it will handle the dialog once and then it will destroy the object. So for example, yeah, so here we have handled this, and then we are saying like on dialog. That means this will be handled and it will be destroyed. This alert will be destroyed. When I come to this on dialog, it will have the dialog, it will handle and it will stay in the memory, it won't get destroyed. So next time, this is actually not useful. So that means like it is just triggered, the event is triggered once, like events can be triggered multiple times, but the listener is already there. So here it will do the accept. So this is not going to work. Okay, so once, in the sense like it will just do the handle and it will destroy the object. So we have to again handle the alert, in the sense like again we have to use the same functions like once dialog. But if I have on dialog, that means it is like your global thing. Whenever there is an alert, it will just do that. It is very useful when you have to do only one set of actions. For example, if you want to accept irrespective of what the alert is going to be, you can just write it on your top of your page, and whenever there is an alert in the web page, it will just go and handle it. But in our case, if I have like multiple alerts where sometimes I have to dismiss, sometimes I have to type a data, then I should not go with the on dialog, rather I should prefer this once dialog. So that is the difference between once and on dialog. So is there any way to turn off this on dialog? Yes, of course we have. We can use the page.off dialog, but you have to write the consumer and you have to pass this, which will be unnecessary, I guess, or which will be, you have to write some more code. So instead of that, use this once dialog, and I will recommend you to use that as well. Okay, so that's the difference, and this is the functions we can handle it. Now coming back to the second topic, which is similar to our alert but not an alert. For example, if you go to this the Internet Hero Q example, if you click on this authentication, so here you can see like it giving us kind of alert like accept and dismiss kind of alert, but this is not your typical JavaScript. This is your HTTP authentication. So here you have to give the username and password. So if you remember here, I said like we have only three types of alert, which is simple, prompt, and confirm. If you go to the prompt, you can see like we have only one text box. So this is of course your JavaScript alert. But if you come to this one, here we have username and password, which is definitely not the correct one. So here I'm going to give like admin, which is the username and password. If I click on the sign in, so here you can see like we have like digest auth, and the URL will become something like digest auth, right? So how to handle this is very simple in Playwright. I'm going to give you a quick demo. So let me change this to once dialog. Okay, and once the script is completed, I'm going to use the same script. So before the closure, I'm going to say page.navigate, and I have to pass this URL. Basically, what is this? Yeah, this one. Let me copy the link address, I mean. Yeah, so if I go there, I have to pass my username and password, right? So how to do that? We can do that easily with the help of browser context. So here you can see like we have the browser context, and we have to use the new context options where we have to pass the HTTP credentials. I'm just going to copy this guy, and within my new context, so where we are launching the new context, actually we are not launching the context, we are directly accessing the page actually. So that's not a good way. Actually we have to use the context, and then from the context we have to set the page. Okay, so I'm going to do that very quickly. So let me do it here. Okay, so browser type dot new context, not from browser, so it should be like from your yeah, so here I have to select new context, and within the context I have to pass this guy. Control Shift O to import, and then we can use the new page. That's it. Okay, now let's go and run this. Of course, both are different script. Just to save your time, I'm using the same class. You can practice in different class. Okay, so the click action is done here, and it should navigate to the another page, and then it's failed actually. Yeah. Okay, the credential is wrong actually. I copied from there directly, so it should be admin and then followed by the admin. And now let's go and run this one more time just to check. And it navigated to that page successfully, and it closed actually very soon. So I'm just going to print the title, maybe like, so if I go to this, even I can go with the basic auth page as well, so it will ask me for the credentials. So let me go and copy this URL. Yeah, both are same actually in this implementation at least. If I give the correct credential, I can say like congratulations message will be there and the basic auth header will be there. So I'm just going to inspect and see what we have here. We have this S3, right? So I'm going to print that text. Okay, so sysout, then followed by page dot text content, I guess. No, use the page dot locator, and locator is h3, and then we are going to give the text content function. Okay, now let's go and run this. You can also use like page.text content, and within that you can pass the locator, but that is not a recommended way to use in Playwright. You should always find the locator first and then do the actions with the help of locator. So you can see like we have this basic auth. Just in case if I don't pass my HTTP credentials, let's see what happens. So I'm going to comment this 2 lines. Now let's go and run. It's not running. Okay, I have to close this bracket here. Yeah. Now let's go and run this. So here you can select, it's giving us that particular HTTP credentials alert, kind of alert, not alert. So yeah, that is how we have to handle this using this particular browser context. Okay, so I hope you understood how to handle this as well. Okay, now the last topic is how to handle the notification or toast message. For example, if you go to my website letcode.in, and then if you go to the login, and if you give your credentials and do the login, in the right hand side you can see something like this. Okay, this is not your alert, this is just an web element. So for this, don't think like you have to use the page.once or on dialog. It's basically web element. I mean, in terms of Selenium, it's a web element. In terms of Playwright, it's a element handle. Okay, you can just go and inspect and you can find this, and you can do something like wait for, or you can use like text content, something like that. Okay, so yeah, that's it for this video. I hope you understood the HTTP authentication as well as how to handle the different types of alerts. So if you have any queries, feel free to ask me in the comment section, and all the code examples GitHub repository link will be in the description. Go and check it out. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one very soon. Tada, bye bye. Take care.